Hello everyone, in this video we are going to go through HTML input attributes, and for this video I'm using Visual Studio Code as my code editor and this index.html, a very basic HTML document, and let me show you how it looks. So this is what we have inside our index.html, and let's get to the business. In this video I'll describe the different attributes for the HTML input element. So let's start with form, and within form I'm gonna take some label and input fields. Hit save, and this is what we have right now. Now let me copy these tags a couple of times, and let's give some text here. First name, and here I'm gonna type last name, LAST. Hit save, and I'm gonna add a BR tag and let's add another BR tag. Yes, it looks pretty good now. And then I'm also gonna have another input as a submit button. Hit save, and a BR tag. Alright, that looks pretty good. Now let's add in here a value attribute equals, let's say, mic, and I'm also gonna add a value attribute here, and the value would be web. Hit save. This input value attributes specifies an initial value for an input field. As you see, here we have mic and value already filled in. Now I'm gonna add another attribute here in our let me resize my editor. Hope you see it well, and I'm gonna type in here value and read only. Hit save. Now nothing happens, but if you click here you cannot type in here anymore, whereas you can type here in your second field because we have made it just read only. Or you can also make here any of the fields disabled, so nobody could type in here. I'm gonna resize my editor because I don't see the whole text. I'm also gonna word wrap my text editor. Now I'm gonna type in here size, and let's say 4. Hit save. This size attribute specifies the visible width in characters of an input field. The default value for size is 20. As you see, the width of this input field is changed to 4 characters. Now there is another important attribute, which is max length. This max length attribute specifies the maximum number of characters allowed in an input field, and I'm going to type in here 4. Hit save, and now if I go beyond 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, when a max length is set, the input field will not accept more than the specified number of characters. Now let's discuss about another attribute, which is multiple, and for this I'm gonna take in another input field, and I'm gonna type in here file, hit save, and I'm gonna type in here multiple, and the input multiple attribute specifies that the user is allowed to enter more than one value in an input field. Now I'm gonna make some changes in this form. Let's delete this field, and I'm also gonna delete the value of this input field and size and max length. Hit save, and this is what we have right now. And I'm gonna type in here another attribute which is placeholder, and the value would be please insert your last name. Hit save, and this is what we have after putting placeholder as an attribute within your input tag. Now after this placeholder attribute, I'm gonna type in here required. This required attribute specifies that an input field must be filled out before submitting the form. Hit save, and if I do not fill it, it will not let you go. Please fill in this field. Now here comes in another attribute which is out of focus, and if I save this document, this is what we have right now. Let me zoom in a bit. Alright, now let's talk about out of focus attribute, and for that I'm gonna make some changes. Let's take input again, and I'm gonna make it alright. It's save, and this is what we have right now. Now I'm gonna type in here out of focus, hit save. Now if I refresh the page, this out of focus attribute specifies that this field should automatically get focused when the page loads. Now I'm gonna add another input here, and the type would be image. It's save, and I'm also gonna take an attribute source, and in my source folder I've got this nature.jpg. It is yes, and I'm gonna give a reference of this image here in this input field, nature.jpg. It's save, and this is what we have right now. And I'm gonna control the height and width of this image with an attribute. Width would be 30 pixels and height would also be 30 pixels. It's save, and this is what we have right now. And you can also make your users click on this image and submit the form. Now I'm gonna delete this stuff from here, and I'm gonna take an input field, and the type of this field would be list, and hit save. I'm gonna add in here a data list tag, and within this data list tag I'm gonna add an option tag, and it doesn't need the adding tag, and I'm gonna copy this tag a couple of times, and let's clean this bit. And alright, that looks perfect now. And I'm gonna type in here an ID, would be, let's say, social media apps, and I'm gonna give a value Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and I'm gonna change this attribute from here as list, and the value of list would be the ID of our data list tag. Hit save, and if I click on this list, we get all of these options available and we can select through them. Alright people, that ends the video here. Thank you for watching and see you next time.